It's Levack and Goz on 104.5 The Team.
Derek Brown returns.
Yeah.
All I have to do is get a nationally observed holiday that you and I don't get. Well, you get off from your real job and I don't, to get you to come spend an hour with me.
Man, hey,
This new job of yours is no good for me personally. I
I'm
just want
telling
to point
you.
it out.
And if you're listening out there, come on, let's talk to these people, man. We got to do something here.
Gotta get you on more often,
Yeah.
man.
Or if you're, a local business owner who's looking to do a little advertising or whatnot with a certain station, 104.5 The Team.
You want to be responsible for the Derek Brown football?
Absolutely.
We can make it happen every week.
Absolutely.
I like that plan.
Yeah.
I will pimp us both out. Let's make as much as we can on this thing.
Absolutely. Get me back on the air. This is fun.
Yeah. All right. So last night, of course, the All-Star game, it was a nail biter. Defensive matchup.
That's
oh my
the
God.
part. Yeah. All-Star.
Did you watch
outing.
it? Did you watch it?
I honestly, my son wanted, he was all into it. And I watched maybe 3 trips up and down.
Because you saw everything. You saw everything you needed to see in 3 trips. It's the same thing after that.
Yeah. I mean, there's better defense at the Y. I can go to the Y and see a better competitive game.
Closer watched he watched the whole thing.
I watched about
purist.
3 quarters. No,
that's good.
And the worst part for me is if I look at all of the All-Star games, Major League Baseball, NHL, and all the 4 major sports, I love the NBA All-Star Weekend experience because...
Okay, the weekend, yes.
The weekend.
But then you get the game where you get all of these guys together showing off their athleticism on every trip up and down the floor, where not only is it one trip you get, an amazing alley-oop, one where you get Kevin Durant passing to Russell Westbrook, then on the other end you get LeBron James hitting one from 45 feet.
There's better defense at track meets.
But you're not going to get defense in this game. You should expect
it's not that.
You know what, though? I
It's
got
to
a
get out of the
question,
way.
though. I mean, back in the day with like Iverson and Jordan, I think they were a little bit more competitive then.
Yeah, they wanted to win.
They wanted to win.
Right. I agree. And I thought it was like, if you're going to go all the way and do what Steph Curry did, I don't want to get dunked on by Greek Freak anymore. I'm going to lay down on the ground and put my hands over my head.
Right.
Like, if you're going to do it, go all the way in. I literally watched the Harlem Globetrotters earlier in the day, and it was about the same amount of defense.
Yeah.
There wasn't a big difference in the two shows. Score was a little lower for the Globetrotters, but they were on the beach, so maybe there's whatever.
Come on, man. you're not going to get defense in this game. That's like you watching Levack. You're a big Walking Dead fan. That's like you watching Walking Dead and expecting no one to die.
Watch your mouth now.
Come on.
Because I'm a Walking Dead fan.
All right,
too
so
now.
you guys are. I haven't gotten into it yet.
Last night's Walking Dead, way more exciting than the All-Star game.
Way more.
Way more.
No disrespect, though.
That's fine.
I get it. That is, in fact, what the All-Star game is about. I get it.
It's an expedition.
It's an expedition. Not for me, though.
It's a show, and that's exactly what the NBA wants.
See, let's see. All right, so DB, I know you're busy all day. I said, do it like this for me. Start a broadcast. So give me the normal broadcast for all the Brian Marianos of the world, and then at half start a condensed one. So you've already edited the first half down to like a half hour,
right?
And then keep going with me as it goes on, because I like I said, I liked watching Anthony Davis score a bunch of points. That was fun. I liked LeBron hitting from half and Steph Curry lay on the court and some of that stuff. But once I saw one dunk from Anthony Davis, I didn't need to see the rest. They were the same.
You know what? I'd like to see, like you said, and like when you watch classic sports on ESPN, where it's like condensed down.
Right, and it comes back. This has been condensed to save time.
Yeah. Right. And you can look up at the scoreboard, all of a sudden it's, third quarter.
Right.
That's how it needs to be.
Like, there was like a great exchange between Westbrook and Isaiah Thomas. Okay, cool. That's great. Put all that in.
Right.
That's good. Keep that. Okay. There was 6 misses in a row from like 6 feet to 10 feet behind the arc. I don't need that. I don't need that. I'm good.
So you guys were, watching Walking Dead, then flipped over and said, all right, well, this game's 130 to 120.
Not at all. Not at all.
Did you want to flip back over?
At 9 o'clock, or actually probably 2 minutes till, the TV was changed.
Right.
And then when my punk son came down and changed it, I got mad. I didn't want to be the bad guy, so I just got up and left. Went to another room and watched.
I was going to say, I love how like members of the family act like there's only one TV in the house.
Yeah. I
Whatever one you're
watching a better one.
Right.
I was watching the better one in the house, that's for sure.
Right.
But, I called dibs. Not only that, I paid the rent. Paid the house. Not the rent, but you know what I'm saying.
Right. Well, you foot the bill.
Yeah. Exactly. And I was there first.
Right.
So he just comes down, sit down, says, all right, Dad, I got this.
Yeah.
We'll flip this over.
Yeah.
I will say
it's a commercial, Dad. I'm like, it better go right back. And then it got a little long. I'm like, man, put it back.
See, everybody always asks, joking, like, have you ever pulled a, do you know who I am? I think that's the only time I do it, is when my kid messes with me. Do you know who I am?
That's right. That's right.
Do you know who I am? I'm the reason that there's however many inches of high definition with surround sound.
That's right.
Last time I knew you didn't draw a paycheck.
See, we have that in my house, too, because we have the one TV that's the smart TV that gets the Netflix and everything. So if one person wants to come down and watch Netflix, and one, my father or whoever's been sitting there watching sports for like an hour, and you're like, hey, Dad, all right, let's commercial, right? Okay. Flip it over and go, and Netflix goes, wait, what are you doing?
Right. You're not coming back. Netflix is a commitment.
Don't worry, I put the game on upstairs in the other TV. Yeah. Well, what do you mean? I've been sitting here. Like, what are you talking about?
See, in all honesty, I put my kids' room together so good, she don't come downstairs. I'm just like, she got the flat screen and everything up there.
So you were smart about it.
Yeah.
Well, not when you kind of start to miss the kid at one point.
Until she comes down to change the channel.
Right. Derrick Brown with us. Happy to have you back on board, hanging out for the whole 3 o'clock hour.
Yeah, man.
Woo-hoo. All right. Also, the big news in New York is this whole Darrelle Revis situation. And now you, first-round draft pick by the Giants, you know what it's like to be a New York athlete. You know what it's like to get a lot of pub, a lot of hype. So I find like it's good that you're here so we can hear a little bit more about this, because I've said flat out that let's say this story, like this story has changed so many times. Like the first time you heard it, he's jumped by 5 people, he ends up in the hospital. Second time you heard it, he attacked 2 people, they're in the hospital. Now it's, okay, not only did 2 people get knocked out, there's video of them getting knocked out, and we have it. So TMZ has the post, and this is, oddly enough, the people I think released the video are Revis's camp. Because this is the person, I hope this better be edited. This is the person that at least says he knocked out the 2 individuals.
Hey, I knocked both of these mother out, both of them. They both sleep. Shut up, I'll knock your ass on that. Both of y'all, shut up.
That doesn't sound like Darrelle Revis to me. Talked to Revis a handful of times. That doesn't sound like Revis to me.
And if they're his boys, that's exactly what they do. The boys take care of it. They,
right.
It's just like the Godfather almost. It's like, look, we'll handle this. That's why he's with them.
Right.
That's
right.
part of the reason.
And even if it is Revis to hit him, like Chris Carter said, get you a fall guy. There it is. If you look at that video on TMZ Sports, those 2 do not remember who hit them.
No.
They do not. It could have been the Tooth Fairy.
And not, obviously we weren't there. We don't know.
Right.
Here's how this went down. First it started like 10 o'clock, shots, right? That's how it started. Right? That group of 5, the gym, now they're drinking Jack Daniels and stuff, right? And so now they go outside. Oh, there's Darrelle. Oh, he thinks he's tough, Mr. NFL guy. Yeah. Some words were exchanged and the other, like, hey, don't cross that line.
Right.
Don't cross that line.
If the story says Revis looks right at them and goes, listen, I'm a pro football player. My name is Darrelle Revis, and I do not want to be involved in this.
That's right. Because listen, you think you know how it's going to end?
Right.
I know how this is going to end.
Right.
And that's what happened.
Well, and that's the thing. Let's say that Revis did knock him out, and I know I have to everybody. I do not condone violence. I've always equated it to this: if I walk up and pet a lion, and that lion eats me, nobody's going to look at the lion and go, "How dare you?" Yeah. They're going to look at him and go, "What kind of idiot pets a lion?"
Exactly.
2:30 in the morning in Pittsburgh. You've already been told twice by this individual, "Get that phone out of my face. Leave me alone." You don't expect to get hit?
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
and it was actually done almost textbook, right? There's 5 of them, right?
Right. Well,
usually you go for 1, right? You make sure you knock out 1, right? Like all 5 of you might get me, but 1 or 2 of you is going to go down.
One or 2 of you's never telling this story.
Exactly.
I've watched enough Jack Reacher. I know what's up. I get the big one.
That's it.
Well, it's okay. So originally the 5 are bothering him. Most of the 5 back off when he tells them to. The 2 keep coming at him. The 1 is like extremely intoxicated by the accounts of Revis's lawyer, and he just keeps coming. And at one point, pulls something out of his pocket at 2-something in the morning in downtown Pittsburgh, the south side of Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. And Revis said, "I didn't know if it was a gun or a phone or what it was." So we defended. But I can't. Again, this video, it's not Revis. That's not unless this guy's telling the truth.
Hey, I knocked both of these mother out, both of them. They both sleep. Shut up, I'll knock your ass on that. Both of y'all, shut up.
That doesn't sound like Revis to me. That doesn't.
And also too, like the background noise doesn't seem as loud or as ruckus. Like he knocked 2 out, and that kind of
Everybody calm
down.
Right.
Like,
it was like a movie
wait.
theater.
It just got real.
Right. Well, and people are still talking, but now they're talking from over here.
Right.
You're lucky that I'm so far away. And then if I'm the Jets though, like, all right, we already thought that he's probably gonna get released because of the cash, whatever.
Right.
That doesn't change your opinion anyway for the Jets, right?
No.
So if he's going to come back, he's going to come back. They're going to find a way, or not. Yeah. But whatever they were already thinking, if anything, this is an excuse to release him when you were already going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, and to me, it's a weak excuse, though. It was a bar fight,
right?
And you're a football player.
Well, and it's like, and then look, man, I hate this line, but I have to say it to you because I'm sure you've heard it in your career. Nothing good happens after 2 a.m.
Yeah, no.
But I mean, do you agree?
Right.
Like. I almost feel like that's a cop-out, though, against a guy like Revis. So I'm in my hometown. I'm out with my friends. He's got investment property. He swings by to look at. Well, how dare you do that 2:30 in the morning? It's not illegal. Maybe it's not the smartest thing in the world, but if we arrested people for being dumb, prisons would be more overpopulated.
Well, I mean, you say not the smartest thing, but like what? He can't go out?
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
like he
thing.
can't go out with his friends?
Like if you're a teammate and you hear this story, do you call up Revis and go, dude, 2:30?
No,
in
not
Southside? No, you leave him.
No, you kind of laugh. Right?
You call him.
I mean, I'm gonna keep it real. Like you're laughing, like, dude, you got 2 of them, man. Son, what happened?
Hang boxing gloves in his locker.
Yeah, right. Oh, absolutely. The champ is here. The champ is here.
We'll have a ring bell in the locker room and everything.
Kumbaya.
Now I gotta go watch Ali.
That's it, man. I'm telling you, man.
Derrick Brown with us right now. He's gonna hang out for the hour. Former first-round pick for the New York Giants. Now, we had you on a lot during the whole fireworks saga with Jason Pierre-Paul.
Yeah.
Jason Pierre-Paul, of course, very talented defensive end, had some injury issues before the fireworks thing, but you saw, if you watched him on every social media platform, you saw that year he was working. He was going to get back to that physical freak and blows a couple fingers off. Free agent, says he wants top dollar. I laughed at it. We had Jordan Ron on, who covers the Giants for ESPN, the mothership. He said, don't laugh too hard because he's going to get paid. He's going to get paid as much as he can and whatever. So what they did, ESPN went to a panel that consists of, quote, front office executives, salary cap experts, and agents. And the projected contract for Jason Pierre-Paul this year will be 4 years, $59 million, guaranteed 21.
Hey, get at me at Twitter at Derrick Brown 86. I am 6'6", right now about 290. Give me a couple months, I'll be down 270 if you really need it.
Toes and fingers intact.
Yes.
Toes and fingers intact, and I can rush the passer myself. For real though. Derrick Brown 86.
Jerry, what you doing, man?
Pierre-Paul is the number 1 4-3 edge rusher in free agency right now. There are some better 3-4 maybe, but if you're looking for a 4-3, he's your guy. Teams in need: Giants, Bucks, Jags, Cowboys, Browns.
Wow.
The Browns. The Browns will pay that.
Yeah. You know what though? All kidding aside, yeah, we all think do think it's a little ridiculous, but you know what? It is what the market bears, and he's put himself in a great position as a 4-3 pass rusher. I mean, wow.
7 sacks last year, 28 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, even he kind of is mocking the whole finger thing now. Like if you go to his Twitter and his Instagram and whatnot, like almost every picture, that hand's in that picture.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whether he's got his hand up to his head and you can see the missing on the glove, and he's like listening for the crowd, stuff like that. Like he's at that point now where he's almost mocking us for paying attention to what he said wouldn't matter, and what 7 sacks later didn't matter. Mm-hmm. I don't know, but here's my thing. So you're a player. The big free agent acquisition for you that year is Jason Pierre-Paul. Not just the fingers, but I mean we're talking about a guy who's had injury issues. One really great year, 16 sacks. Last year looked great till he got hurt again. I'm more worried about, doesn't he? He's a hip and a back issue, right?
Mm-hmm. You know what? Also, too, though, but we're talking about some other things that intangibles. He is a locker room guy. I mean, you heard the young guys on that defensive line this past year say what a great leader JPP has been this year, and in that locker room. So he also brings that. He also brings 1 or 2 Super Bowls. So I mean, he has that experience as well. He may have 8 fingers, 7 fingers, but
I think he's not a Patriot. He doesn't have enough fingers for rings. What? No.
There you go. Right?
No, is that wrong? Is that unfortunate?
Exactly.
Well, and they still say it's about 70% chance he comes back to New York.
Wow.
So I mean, that would. Look, I don't want him to go because I do like watching him play, and I did predict that the hand wouldn't be an issue because
we both said it right here.
And it's more like you were almost insulting about it though. You defensive ends, you're like, you guys just run at people, whatever. I said his work ethic would be good.
Well, and the fact that I think he's still going to be playing with a chip on his shoulder too, because I think he's playing like he has something to prove as well.
And that's, I think I agree with you 100%. I think that's the deal. Let's see what Jim thinks. Jim, what's going on, buddy?
Guys, listen, diehard Giants fan, and I'm a big JPP guy as well, but I was a JPP guy on the deal that we had him at. 7.5 sacks with 4 or 5 of them came against Cleveland. And he's got some injury issues. We've got a lot of issues on the offensive line. There's not a good draft for offensive line. I say we go out, get some free agency offensive line and draft some DNs. There's supposed to be a pretty rich draft as far as DNs go, is from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, no, defensive side of the ball. This is a good year for you. You want the ends early, the secondary late, and then offense.
Yeah.
No, so I mean, yeah, Jim's got a point too, but guy knows your system.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I think
closing diehard Giants fan.
I am. I'm a diehard Giants fan. I think Jim nailed it right on the head there because as much as DBU mentioned how good his locker room presence is, and a lot of this defense does depend on that, with a lot of young guys there as well. But ultimately, the offensive line, the issue this year wasn't the defense.
Right.
It was the offense. They were inept at running the ball at all. Eli Manning was getting sacked all the time. Flowers. He just kills me at left tackle. He kills me. So in my opinion,
kills you. Imagine how Eli feels.
Oh my God, it's awful to watch. So in my opinion, I think Jim is absolutely correct. You spend the money in the offensive line, draft younger guys to go on that defense, and continue and build a defense that could be really good for a long time, not just the next 3-4 years, the next 8-9 years. If you can get young guys backing up the Vernons and Landon Collins at safety as well.
I was going to say, if you don't sign JPP,
you told Landon Collins you're paying him.
Well, no, Levy Vernon. That's your defensive push. Yeah, that's it. Now I can double team him. Like you're talking about Spags, who when Spags is successful, you brought up the Super Bowls, DB. I get pressure with 4, and I let everybody else do their jobs.
Yeah.
So if you don't bring him back, you're hoping Romeo or Cora makes it was just a big puffy version of DB in my opinion. You're hoping that he makes that kind of leap where he's the guy because anybody you bring in doesn't know the system.
That's true, but the question is how many games are you going to win when you're only scoring 17 points a game?
A lot more if you got a good defensive front.
I don't know.
Just today's, because hate to say it, those Cowboys wrote the book right now. They got the manual on how, in order to be successful. I mean, we already know about the Patriots, all right? Turn that page, whatever. Throw that book away. But, it starts with that offensive line, man. Got to get that offensive line.
Yeah.
And that's where the issue is.
I'm worried. See, I don't know what the deal is with that offensive line, though, because remember, as a rookie, there was seconds where Flowers looked okay at left tackle. Like, he clearly didn't know exactly what he was doing. But with Pugh sitting next to him, he was good. Pugh was out half of this year or moved around or whatever, and he didn't look as good.
Yeah, it definitely helps when Pugh's next to him because he's almost a general there on that offensive line.
For diehard listening to the show, Justin, pew, pew, pew. I'm sorry. I didn't do it right. But Goz would be sad.
Let's look at your team out in Oakland.
I don't want to.
Look, why? Oh, come on. You were one injury away from being pretty good this year. Not to bring that back up for you. I'm sorry.
I went and watched them play in Denver. Like, it's actually, DB, have you ever seen a team just wilt like that over one player? I mean, like not just like I expected the offense to look like they were playing in mud because Carr wasn't there, but that defense played like they were like their heart were broken too. Like there was no effort out of the team whatsoever over one broken bone.
Not really.
Like if Brunell went down because you got Jacksonville, you guys had a.
But we won though because Rob Johnson stepped in and we still won again, and then he got hurt, and then there was another guy that. What is his name? Oh, not Matthews. I forget his name. Great guy too. He actually did well too and won a game as well. So no, I mean it's more like a rallying thing.
I don't want to talk about them.
I had to bring it up.
You know what though? Maybe that made sure that might show the I'm not gonna say immature because that's a negative thing. I'm not saying they're immature like as in bad, but immature like because they're just young.
Yeah, they're not ready yet.
They're not yet. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're just not ready yet. And I think next year, like, oh, wait a second, we can still do this.
Sure.
We just got to pick up here, and here.
And that's what I'm worried about as a Giants fan, to where if they can't fix up the offensive line at all, because it's not like Paul Perkins was great last year. Surprise. And it seems like the moves they made now, getting rid of Vereen and Jennings, they're going to go with him as well. Is he going to be good enough with that offensive line to really help Eli have time to throw the ball? Because they have threats with Beckham and Shepard, and they'll probably add. Even Lewis was pretty good last year towards the end of the season because Cruz was hurt. It's one of those years where if they can shore up the offensive line, maybe go after another linebacker. Even if they do sign JPP, I hope it's not for $59 million. Good God. But if they were to have to do that, this team could be dangerous next year, even though the book, like you said, DB, has been written out in Dallas.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the other quarterback's name. We got all the coaches for your 99 team.
How about Coughlin going back?
Yeah. I knew that wouldn't be. He couldn't sit on the sideline.
No.
With his house like 15 minutes away from that stadium.
Sit on a golf course,
it's like 30 minutes away, literally. If he lives in the same place, he's 20 minutes.
Jamie Martin.
Tops. No,
not Jamie Martin. Okay, producer Woods sucks then.
Yeah. That's hurtful.
He's used to it. Well, I abuse anybody in that room except for Inter Taylor. He's cool.
I'm surprised you know his name.
Well, because the first time he was ever here, he said what a fan of me he was. That's why I know who he is.
Oh, okay, of course. Now it all makes sense.
Listen, you want me to remember? You say nice things. Or play for the Raiders. Before TV walks into a phone store, I want to be your friend.
That was funny. Right there on Central Avenue, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Jeez, long time ago. How many moons ago? It is the Derek Brown Hour right here on 104.5 Team. Levack and Goz. Goz out. Closer. Let's do some headlines.
Headline number one is UAlbany men's lacrosse on Saturday lost in the final seconds against Syracuse 10-9. I like to joke, Levack, I have to talk to my uncle Nick to make sure that is my cousin Nick Mariano. I'm in contact right now. Nick Mariano scored with 1.9 seconds left to win the game for Syracuse 10-9 over UAlbany. UAlbany's a top 12 team this year, ranked 12th, and Syracuse ranked 6th. Actually, this game last year, they got blown out, lost by 7. They come back this year, lose in the last second or so. Scotty Marr will join us later this week.
Yep.
We're going to have him on, I believe, Wednesday to talk about this. And this is a team that could be very dangerous coming up this season.
Well, I mean, Roger Wineland was on earlier, and he said flat out, they snuck one past the goalie. The kid's first year as being the every play goalie. Just imagine what a game like this early in the season does for him. It's going to be. We'll get the full scoop. We'll get the full skinny as UAlbany. I'm hoping that they take it all down this year. That would be pretty awesome.
How cool would that be? I mean, thinking UAlbany sports this year, the football team had a pretty good year, just missing the playoffs.
Stevie's still trying to find the quarterback's name.
Still searching hard on his phone over there.
I got it.
Who is it? Who was it?
Steve Matthews.
Steve. Okay.
Oh, okay.
You said Matthews.
I did say Matthews. Yeah.
Dude, what did you find that? Good job, buddy.
As you trashed him the entire end of
That's why I got to be nice to him now, even though I really don't think it was his. I think TV found it, but
trash him and then loving all over the intern who made sure he said nice things.
He's a very talented.
Now
young
he ran
man.
away.
Very talented young man. Very smart. Know the room. That's the number one rule for interns. Know the room. You know what I mean?
That's right.
You walk in, I'm breaking things, walk out. You walk in, I'm being nice, hang out for a little bit.
That's it.
So since I'm in the room, I'm going to know that we're going to move to headline number 2 after that. John Calipari, the coach of the Kentucky Wildcats, is actually going to be the coach this year for the U.S. under-19 team in Cairo for the FIBA under-19 World Championships. Now, in my opinion, this is going to be a move that is setting up a much bigger move because Mike Krzyzewski is no longer going to be the men's national coach. This could be the move that sets up John Calipari to become the next men's national coach. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
If you think of a better guy, I mean, he's the king of the one and dones.
Yeah.
Which means you put a group in his hands for a short period of time, he's going to get the most out of them.
Yeah. And he's been doing it for a long time, too.
And when you think college basketball right now, it definitely just has to be John Calipari and Mike Krzyzewski. I mean, you still have Roy Williams. You still have a few other guys that are Jim Boeheim in Syracuse. But right now, top of their game has to be John Calipari and Mike Krzyzewski right now, in my opinion. And that's not just me being a Duke homer at all. I looked over at DB's wearing the Carolina T-shirt, so I'm kind of try and stay away from that as much as I can. But
there's only one team he's loyal to, and they wear gold.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, for now. For now. We'll find once we find out where Sid's going, that'll be another team.
That is true. I'm not gonna lie. I like Miami too. Still.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You grew up down there, right?
Yeah, close to it. Yeah.
So, I have a headline.
Oh.
See what you think it is. Victor Cruz, breaking news, is visiting the Carolina Panthers. Would you like to see Vic Cruz? So, all right.
Ooh.
Derek Brown, former New York Giant. Victor Cruz, former New York Giant. Did you see enough from Vic Cruz this year to know whether or not you believe he still has anything left?
Wow, did I see enough?
I mean, he was basically good for, I thought he was good enough because he was one play, 30 to 40 yards a game. You know what I mean? And it was always like when you needed 30 to 40 the most.
Exactly. And I think, too, I think he has enough history to deserve one more look. You know, even if he didn't show up this past year, it's Victor Cruz. You know what?
Right.
If I can get him for the right price, yeah, I think I will.
And I think that's the key, too, exactly what you said, is get him at the right price because the Giants were not going to pay him what he was going to be owed this year. And off of his records last year, he wasn't worth that money. So if the Panthers can get him at the right price, I think it's a good fit. But
is it a good fit? That's my only question. Is Cam
I think
Newton
it is I think it's a good fit. You know, you got Cam Newton, like to toss the ball a little bit. Yeah, he knows how to run and everything, but he's in warmer weather. Okay, he's outside. Yeah, I think it's a good fit.
He's clearly the slot because you got Funchess and you got Kelvin Benjamin on the side.
Yeah, but what he does is he'll take the top off the defense a little bit and he'll open the underneath routes for Greg Olsen. So if he takes the pressure off Greg Olsen, and of course for my fantasy team right now who has Greg Olsen, that's great because now he's going to have
You're such a degenerate.
No.
Everything's about your keeper league or whatever you're wagering on.
Oh, mister, I was talking about fantasy football the entire year on this program. I don't know what you're talking about.
I was talking about betting. I wasn't talking. Goz talked about fantasy.
So I'm the degenerate for playing fantasy football. Okay.
You know what you call a winning gambler? Not a degenerate. You're only a degenerate when you're losing.
But ultimately, if they can have Funchess on one side, Benjamin on the outside, Cruz to take the top off on certain times, then you have Greg Olsen in the middle, that offense could be pretty good this year.
But, all right, so obviously, tight end in the NFL, is it the same catching passes and even protecting and everything else, or, the timing of a guy who gets happy feet and runs around like Newton, who does it great. I don't mean to do it in an insulting way. Or Eli, who's not leaving that pocket unless you put dynamite in front of him.
No, we can get that worked out in the summer.
Yeah,
because the ball's in the air, I'm going to go get it. It doesn't really matter.
Because Denver's another team that was allegedly on the table for Victor Cruz. Now, obviously, the quarterback is far better.
Yeah. In
Carolina, but the system. Well, actually, I say that I'm going based on Mike McCoy's former systems. I don't know exactly.
Sure,
but. The system, with Emmanuel Sanders on one side and Demaryius Thomas on the other, seems to fit a Victor Cruz pretty nicely. That's a pretty formidable 3-pack of receivers.
To be honest with you, both of those scenarios are good fits for him.
All right.
Even as weird as it is, I think both of those scenarios, even though they kind of seem completely 180s from each other, no, I can totally see him fitting in there and basically doing the same. Providing the same thing because we know what Victor Cruz is. And I think that is, no matter what kind of offense you want or you have or you run, right? Victor Cruz is that slot receiver, like you said, is going to take the top off of the defense, allow some unmanned guys going underneath. Hey, know your product, right?
Yeah, man, it's going to be so weird to see him in a
For you?
Not Giants.
Not at all. It won't be weird at all. It was weird seeing Joe Montana go play for Kansas City.
Yeah.
Right? That's weird. In this day and age, flip-flop, no, that doesn't, no. It was weird to see Strahan line up in another uniform. That's weird.
It was weird seeing Derek Brown in a Cardinals uniform. I didn't like that one bit.
I agree with that.
Second that.
I'll second that one.
Yeah, and then some. But he's been like, the heart and soul kind of thing. Like he's the guy. He's the, even when like they did the boat cruise, cruise, and the fact like everybody's like, I could see OBJ and everybody being there, but Victor. He's the good kid.
Can we talk about that just for a second again?
It's your hour.
It's sick.
It might be the Levack and Goz show, but it's Derek Brown's
talking about they were not focused, this and the other. Let me tell you what, they're in New York City. I guarantee you they could have been just as distracted, if not more, going out in that doggone city every single day of the week. All of a sudden, because you're a professional athlete, you can't get away for a weekend.
Well, that's what kills me. Is it just because it was in Miami and they were on a boat? If they were out in New York City or out in New Jersey, was everyone going to freak out the same way?
Exactly.
No.
Well, Landon Collins said the DBs went out on their own.
Yeah. No one cared.
Just nobody was smart enough not to Snapchat pictures of them with their shirts off.
That's true. But you know what, though? Wide receivers are prima donnas. They're all about, it's all about flash and flair. The brand. It's the brand.
I was still disappointed that Beaver was on that boat. I mean, that's
well, look, man, you know what though? You can be disappointed all you want though, man. But Beaver's hanging out with Floyd Mayweather.
Oh yeah,
too,
man.
Like
he's killing it.
Hold on, though.
The street cred is coming up.
DB, wide receivers are all divas.
Not all.
They love you. Like you're catnip to wide receivers. We were at Bill's camp. Andre Reed wouldn't talk to anybody. He sees DBs. Yo, Derek. Come here. He's like hugging up on
that's
you.
Friends.
Rob Moore comes running over. I'm like, hi, can I get some, insight from you? Nope. Oh, you know DB? All right, what do you want to know?
Well, no, I'm not saying they're all prima donnas, but I'm just saying,
that group is.
That's most of them.
That group, you play a position where you get in the ball, quite a bit in your hands. So you got to have a little bit of, not me, but a little bit of, I'm the man.
Well, a little me first. A little me before the rest. But then also, like, everybody getting mad at him for walking around with no shirts on. Like, seriously, like, if I looked like that with no shirt on, I would have come in today with, like, a scarf. Right? No shirt. I still would have figured it out.
We're all happy you didn't.
That's why I don't look like that, Closer. That was my point.
My favorite response to that entire situation, you're welcome, is when Eli Manning was asked about it. Yeah, I'm really disappointed that they didn't pack very well. They clearly don't have shirts, So, like, that response is why I'm such a big Eli Manning fan.
Oh, totally. I saw a tweet where it showed the guys before pregame, doing all the different handshakes, this and the other, and Eli just walks right by like these young guys, like, whatever, these young whippersnappers,
just remember what, Spider 2 Y banana means, and we'll be fine. Everything will
when I wave my hand this way at you, you make sure you run that route,
That's
okay?
Right.
Derek Brown in here with us is Levack and Goz, but Goz is out. Closer is in for the day. I just want to know more about diva wide receivers because they, like I said, we were at Radio Row in Houston. You were in Houston the week before we went to Houston.
Yeah.
And we're at Radio, and like, literally, Andre Reed big leagues me again. And I'm like, but we're friends now. Like, we met, like, we know a guy. And he's like, didn't even, like, I would like to tell you that was a full conversation. It wasn't. It was, hey, Andre, remember saw you at blah, blah, friends with Derek Brown. You want to sit down for it? Did he drop a smoke pellet? How did he get away so fast?
Oh, man.
What did he do?
Where's the Super Bowl next year?
Minnesota.
Ooh.
Come on, man.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about renting an RV and just driving out this time.
It's definitely not Houston.
No, it's not Houston.
But that stadium looks awesome.
Oh, it is.
Oh, yeah.
In the city, I got one of my best friends from home actually lives in Minneapolis or right outside, and yeah, that's a possibility. But there's also, I know it's like a gerbil house, hut, whatever. Everything, tunnels and bridges everywhere.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
I'm claustrophobic coming up there.
Well, it's not like that small, though, man. But I'm just saying.
Neither am I.
Oh, my God. And I digress. Okay, what were we talking about? What's going on in the world of sports?
We've gotten into Levack's body so much in this segment, I don't know where to go from here.
I always knew Closer was into my body. Derek Brown hour. But, Derek, there's a guy making a run to be a more famous Derek that's been on this show. First of all, lives up to that nickname, man. He's a scary big dude, man. First of all, he was in studio not too long ago. Derek Lewis, the Black Beast. And it was like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, the Black Beast, like, is that okay? Can we do, am I allowed to say that? And he's like, yes, don't not say it. And they shook my hand, and DB, like, you have huge mitts. His hands are even bigger than yours.
And just swallowed your hand.
Just gone from the face of the earth. So he was, Derek Lewis, everybody who was at the fight night at the TU Center, he won the main event. Mm-hmm. Since then, he hasn't lost. And he's like second in the heavyweights division for KOs and TKOs.
Yeah, he's nuts. Like, I watched him when he was at Albany, and not only does he physically look like he's about to overpower you, and then he just throws that right hook, and it's just
lights out.
Oh my goodness!
Now, how often do these guys fight? Like after? I mean, is it every like 2 months, 3 months,
3 to 6, depending upon what you got going on. Usually about 3.
Yeah. Time.
Well, like definitely the higher up ones, like obviously you see McGregor and the higher ups don't fight as often, but I mean to think he fought in November here and is what, February?
Yeah. He's fought like 2 times in between there too.
So it's well most of his fights are over pretty quick.
Yeah.
So this one was against Travis Brown, the boyfriend of Ronda Rousey. Now I'll get to that in a second, but so TV, when he was on the show, we asked him like, how do you cut weight? And he literally said, just laxatives and stuff. It's fine. Here he is post-fight interview.
You're holding your body. How badly were you hurt to the body in the first round?
I just got to do number 2. That's all. It's not really hurting from the kick. I just got to boo-boo.
I just got to do number 2. I'm not hurt.
I got to take a deuce.
Now, after, having to have certain exams and stuff, laxatives are no joke. He might really have had to.
Right?
Oh, yeah. This is the quote that's getting him all the love.
I just knew I had bigger heart than him. He called himself a man, but he like put his hands on women. So, forget that guy. I got much more heart than he has. Go around there, rise and find ass at.
He might be my new favorite.
Where you at, girl?
I watch UFC all the time. Never heard of the guy before the Albany event.
Uh-huh.
And did a little study on him because we had him on the air. Dude, he's my new favorite.
I love it. Lay hands on him.
Yeah, man. He's not afraid to talk either.
Yeah,
but he
so
backs it up.
You got to start getting in here more because he's, he might be the most famous Derek on the show if you don't.
Whatever. He might be the more recent Derek, but he definitely the more famous Derek.
Derek Brown, first round pick, national champion.
That's hurtful.
Shots, all right, man.
So DB, we used to do a segment called DB on TV.
Yeah.
I found a new show for us, man.
Talk to me.
They're working on, I think it's, J.J. Abrams.
Okay.
So like Lost and Star Trek and everything. Doing a new show called Castle Rock. So it's all about Stephen King characters. He's going to do weekly episodes.
Really?
Like about Christine or Needful Things.
Christine. They got to make a remake of that one.
He's going to do a weekly show where each one, like maybe Cujo's kid shows up or something. I don't know. Does that sound like something?
That does sound like something.
Because I know we got Walking Dead for a little while longer.
Yep. April 10th, Better Call Saul comes on again.
That's your hook?
3, I think.
I gotta be honest, I've never watched an episode.
It's pretty good. I like it because especially if you watch Breaking Bad, which I did get caught up on thanks to you guys. You'll like it because it's kind of cool. I like it.
What's the travels of the Brown family?
Well, let's see here. Sydney this past weekend, they just won the New Jersey 2017 Prep High School Championship, state champs.
Nice.
So she's a state champ, and you see Reese is playing. His team is playing scrimmage Wednesday, game Saturday, Section 2, playoffs now start. Mm-hmm. That's it. So now, Blairstown, New Jersey, and here, Blairstown, New Jersey. Eventually I probably have to go to Boston for work or maybe Syracuse.
When's Sid officially announcing her college on this show?
You know what? It's a good question because I would like for her to make this decision. It'd be nice.
Can we do it here? Can she come in? Can we do the Derek Brown and Sydney?
You know what? I will talk to her about it and see if I can get her here to do that.
Yeah.
She goes. It's pretty cool. This whole prep thing. She goes to Kenya. I think like March 11th for like 12 days. Yeah.
Jeez.
This kid who wouldn't go anywhere is now living at school.
Oh, yeah.
3 hours away. And oh yeah, by the way, I talked to coach into taking some kids out to Kenya. I go, that's not California.
Yeah.
We're talking, you know.
How's that work?
You gotta stop and die.
You were a big deal. Nobody took you to Kenya.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. No.
I'm going with.
Yeah, right?
Nah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't mind staying.
Right. After all those years of driving her everywhere.
Exactly.
She goes someplace on her own.
Yeah.
Derrick Brown. All right, man. We got to do this more often.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
All right. We'll fire Woods and clear up some money for you. DB, we appreciate you.
Thanks.